yahoo.com. So either one of those emails are perfectly fine. Definitely reach me for a private reading. I do read tarot, which I just mentioned, but I also like to read a little bit about the placements in each house, and I like to do readings on the placement on each house. So learning about your birth chart is important. cafeastrology.com /natal chart or birth chart will definitely give you an insight on your birth chart. Obviously, definitely know your date of birth with the year. You definitely have to put where you were born for time zone reasons, because that also affects the placements. Knowing the time is important because it tells you your ascending planet, but it's not that important for the moment. You could always pay an astrologer to do a birth chart reading. It does cost a lot of money, but like I said, cafeastrology.com /natal chart or birth chart will definitely give you an insight on your birth chart, including sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, and the houses. The houses are the zodiacs, the 12 zodiacs that we know of, right? So from Aries all the way to Pisces, Aries being the baby, Pisces being the ascending spirit. So, but however, today I wanted to talk about Pluto retrograding. And so Pluto retrograding is very important at this time because it is affecting people, whether you know it subconsciously or consciously. It is affecting you. Astrologers will talk about Pluto in retrograde, or Pluto and the house it rules, which is the 8th house. It's Scorpio. I happen to be a sun in Scorpio, and I have a few placements in Scorpios actually, and Pluto rules the 8th house. So Pluto rules Scorpio. So what does Pluto mean? Pluto is a planet that represents death, rebirth, transformation, sex, money, legacy. So it does have some things in common with Capricorn, because right now the planet is retrograding. It doesn't retrograde. It retrogrades probably every generation and a half, I would say. And right now it is retrograding in the, I'm sorry, not the, the 10th house, which is Capricorn. Capricorn rules the sector of career, and in tarot it's the devil, so it represents the devil. So if you're familiar with tarot card reading, you'll know that Capricorn, when you see the sign of Capricorn, you usually see the sign like the devil, illustration, but not everyone does a devil illustration. I've seen beautiful devils in tarot cards. I happen to own a few tarot cards, and they don't all look the same, but it is Capricorn. It rules Saturn. Saturn represents the 10th house, and so in tarot is the devil. And I don't want you for you to be scared. If you know about tarot card reading, the devil can mean many things, depending on the cards and what comes before and after. So really weird, I do readings in the placements. And you'll see a lot of readers read for your sun sign or your moon sign or your Venus sign, and that's great, and I will do those things too. And I definitely want to just start with this video about Pluto retrograding and how it's going to affect us, because Pluto again is retrograding in Capricorn, and Capricorn is Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of karma. And so I'm just scratching the surface of astrology. I'm more have the ability to read tarot. I am not by no means I don't call myself an astrologer at all. I do keep an eye on the planets and how it affects each sign. And I think, you know, if you're interested in tarot card reading and astrology, I think you'll like it, because in my opinion, to me, it integrates. It definitely integrates, you know. So Pluto was demoted back in 2006. It has a dwarf planet. And so I could be wrong, but I think some astrologers are saying, you know, it's back to a planet. It doesn't matter. It's affecting us either way. There's moons out there in the solar system that we don't see that affects us. And I'm not going to go into that, but, you know, it does. And so Pluto will be retrograding in the sign of Capricorn until October 3rd, actually, right? Yeah, so it's been here since April 24th, and it will go back and finish its retrograde in and around October 3rd of this year. So, like I said, Capricorn does rule the career sector, and it is the patriarch of the zodiac. So right now you're going to experience subconsciously or consciously the pain and the pleasures of your life experience, and that's Pluto for you, and that's okay. So while most planets and moon have their light and shadow side, you'll find that Pluto has a lot of dark shadow sides. And it does have its light moments, but, you know, it belongs to Scorpio. Scorpio is intense. It's deep, you know. So it's a wonder why it does rule the planet of Pluto. It's all the way in the end. It's like deep in the dark, dense air of space, and so emotions do run deep. And Capricorn is a sign of, like I was just explaining to you, in tarot, it is the devil. And it does represent Saturn. And Saturn is the planet of karma. That's what I call it, to keep it simple, in simple terms. Also, I wanted to touch on the 8th house. Scorpio does represent psychology in a way, among other things. But again, sex, money, legacy, transformation, rebirth, all those things represent Pluto. And when you really think about it, you know, Pluto, Saturn, even Mars, including Mars, they have things in common, and it's like pretty dark and intense. So without further ado, I do want to do a reading about the retrograding of Pluto, how it's affecting us as a collective, and hopefully you will enjoy this video. I will do more videos on other planets and placements, and a lot of people do sun signs, but I want to get into the gist of, like, you know, that's why I'm saying go to your birth chart and definitely know your birth chart, because, for example, my sun is in Scorpio, Sag, Cusper, my moon is in Aquarius, my Mercury is in Scorpio, and so forth. My Venus is in Sag, and it's like, and so we have a little bit of every sign in our chart. It is our soul contract. People call it our soul contract, or your blueprints, and it's pretty intense if once you get into astrology, you know. So I want to start with the Chrysalis Tarot deck.